Welcome to a special edition of Fanlight Zone Presents. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also the editor-in-chief here at FLZ. To my left, you're right at home. He's one of our featured comic editors, and you also know him as the face of 607 TWS, the wrestling show. Please give a warm welcome to Rich.
It feels like deja vu, but don't adjust your YouTube quite yet, because it isn't, because this is an older episode. This is not the first, not the second, but the third time that we've had the pleasure of having our guest on today.
Dare I say we are living in the year of Kaplan, because this author has been absolutely crushing 2026 with such amazing series as Masterminds, Only the Savage Are Left, The Smart Division, and he is returning to the land of Immortal Vikings like you've never seen them before in the third part of Kill All Immortals. Absolutely crushing in everything he's touching, and with this series drops on October 7th. The FOC is August 31st. You don't want to miss out on that. You know it's going to be the buzz of the shops. It's going to be the buzz on the internet, because obviously his track record speaks for itself. We are proud to welcome back the one and only Zack Kaplan to Fanlight Zone Presents.
Thank you, guys. Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. It's going great. It's going great.
You've been absolutely crushing it with everything going on. And when we talked to you last, we knew Kill All Immortals 3 was coming out. But in case anybody is not familiar yet with the series, because there might be some people that aren't yet, but by the time this episode is done, they're going to be running to the comic shops, placing their pre-orders, and go and get some trades. What is the whole story of Kill All Immortals all about?
It's family of Vikings. They discover a secret form of immortality. 1,000 years later, they're a barbaric billionaire empire, and the only daughter wants out. So we pitched it as HBO's Secession family drama meets John Wick action with well-dressed immortal Vikings, and definitely trying to follow in the footsteps of Something's Killing the Children and Erica Slaughter, with just a high-octane action series, a strong female protagonist that kicks ass, and it's been just an absolute thrill to write this book, and it's been an amazing response. We're bringing the third arc series finale this October, and cannot wait.
And it is a fantastic book. It's unfair because I am a huge fan. Kill All Immortals is one of my favorite series. So when you told us, unfortunately, that this is going to be it, I was like, but is there a way for this not to be it? Because let's be honest, it's going to be a sad day. Although I
reserve the right to change my mind when the movie comes out years from now, and then suddenly I'm doing 50 of them, and yes, but we want to finish this saga and really land it. We want to have a really consequential ending and put everything out there. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. If people have read it, the first volume is really just her versus her family, which is a ride in and of itself. The second volume kind of opens up the whole world and says, and spoiler alert, says, what if there were other immortal families? And the third volume, which we're setting the table for, is just the entire world of immortals, and it's awesome. It's so much fun to just write to take this character that started in such a small place and write this big epic landscape for her.
Absolutely. And I've often said that the arc in the books, especially with Frey, has gone after like the Michael Corleone and the Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a part of this, and then almost accepting it because of situations, which once again, we won't spoil. Go get
no
the trades.
Spoilers, but yeah,
that's what needs to happen. And then coming into this. So usually I would ask for the elevator pitch, but we kind of already know where the series is. So without spoiling anything, like kind of give like that brief recap where we are in the middle here, going from the end of volume 2 into volume 3. What can the readers expect?
I think first off, like one of the things that makes her such a great character to write is that she is torn in two directions that you really don't. You want her to go in both directions, and you don't want her to go in both directions. I mean, on the one hand, you want her to stand up to her family. You want her to get her independence. You want her to be able to be true to her ideals and be herself and be free. And on the other hand, you want her family to be safe, and to keep her family safe and to keep herself safe, she has to be brutal and violent and Viking. And you also want to see her step into that and stop taking shit from everybody else, taking shit from her family, taking shit from her father, taking shit from all these rivals. And you want to see her take the leadership and the crown that she deserves, but we also know what comes with that. And so there's really no right answer for her. And so she's really in a terrible situation, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And so it's an amazing character drama to write against this just one epic fight after another. I mean, it is so much fun to just continue to put her in such amazing sequences with such amazing rivals. I mean, starting off with her brothers and keep going. I think that the most exciting thing for me is how much world expansion there gets to be in the third arc, and how we get to really build out all these other potential immortals. And she's still got her family to contend with, and she's in a very aggressive state of mind. So you know, and we even captured it on the covers. I mean, the first issue 1 cover, which is our volume 1 cover, she's like seated, she's like a little buttoned up. And the second volume cover, she's a little more loose. And by the third, the cover, the A cover for the new issue that's coming out, like it's all she's loose, she's like free, but she's also very violent. And so yeah, it's a really fun place to join her as a character.
Especially like I said, with the way that the volume 2 ended. Once again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is kind of awesome to see that she's going into the arc that she should be going into. And once again, still there's still a lot out there. And when you say a lot more world building, that's cool, because there was quite a bit of world building in volume 2. I mean, we got to see a little bit more of the world. So if there's even more, that's going to be even more exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot more. And I think we have a new artist on this final chapter. The first 2 volumes was Fico Ossi, who's an amazing artist. And of course, you don't draw 10 issues like that and not find opportunity. So he had amazing opportunities being presented to him at DC, and we said, go knock it out of the park. But we had a little more to tell here. So I'm really lucky. Marvel artist superstar Francisco Mortarino, who's done NYX over there and X-Men and a bunch of crazy cool stuff over there, has come on board. And we still have Jago Rocha, and the world is so beautiful to see them just designing this and building it out. The pages are phenomenal. I'm really excited. Readers will step into it and feel just like they're right back in it. So it's really great. It's a really epic, beautiful visual book for sure.
Epic is the perfect way to describe it, because when you open it up, you're really not sure what to expect, but it really hits the gas pedal early for bringing the action and then the twists and turns that goes through. And if I'm doing my math right about this is the longest ongoing story that you've done in comics to date, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not exactly.
Okay.
I actually, when I first broke in, so I've been making comics for about 10 years now. And oddly enough, my very first 2 series, which were Image Top Cow series, Eclipse and Port of Earth, I fell right into ongoing. Eclipse did very well when I first launched it. And so I ended up doing 4 volumes of that series, which is one more than Kill All Immortals. And Port of Earth, I took 3 volumes as well. And I love that sort of ongoing storytelling where you get to take a character and start them somewhere and really just, drag them. It's almost like Breaking Bad, sort of like, to really just, make that character shift and change and transform. There's nothing more fun than having the room to do that. But I have not done that since those 2 books in 2016 to 2019. Everything since then has been miniseries. So, and it wasn't without design that I looked at Frey from the onset and kind of said, I think this is a character that has the chance, both with readers and the chance with her character story, to go that distance. So really excited to bring her story to kind of a fulfilling conclusion.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's been a while. Then I do apologize for that. I got some homework I need to do.
No worries.
But seeing that this has been the series that has been the longest to date, because like I say, a lot of the stories you've been doing lately have been short.
Yeah.
What makes this one so special to you to keep it going? Was there a moment that you're like, okay, I don't want to put this story away. I want to keep this expanding and keep pushing it now into 3 volumes?
I think it's the character story. I think there's such a rich dilemma for her as a character that if you ended it in 5 issues, it just would not do it justice of the potential. And, I think, like Rich said, seeing her dragged into that kind of Godfather dark place, and wondering if that's where she's going to end up, and is this a tragedy, or what is the outcome here? Like, there's so much rope there to let her character kind of struggle. So that, to me, that's more than there's also world, obviously, like there's a great world to expand to see more immortals. So it's a lot of fun to come up with more villains and more drama and power dynamics. And it's just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. But I think it's the character. I think, and you kind of fall in love with her. She's really relatable. I mean, what she wants in life is really relatable, and what she ends up doing in spite of that is really relatable. And listen, the whole thing's a metaphor for kind of how we approach billionaires. Billionaires is a kind of immortality is a metaphor for billionaires, and so there's this interesting kind of aspect to that. But I think at its core, it's just like, she's a trapped character that's really trying her best to do the right thing and to be free. And I think that's what makes me, from the onset, want to continue her story all the way through for 3 arcs. I think that's why we were allowed to. I mean, I think the readers responded and said, we like this, we love this character, and we want to read more of her. And I think that was what gave us the confidence to just keep going with her.
No, absolutely.
No, I have to agree about that, because it's how she connects to the audience. I think that has been the biggest strong point of her, just because it's one that you get really rallying behind her, and then you see the decisions she makes in both volumes thus far, and then you're like, okay, and then that's really where you're locked in this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ongoing stuff out there, but I feel like this is a great trilogy read for sure. I think if there's people out there who have not, you've just heard the buzz and you haven't got into it, it's not too late. In fact, we're going to drop the 2nd volume in September, just 3 weeks before the new arc starts. So you can go get volume 1, you can go get volume 2. It's easy to pick both up, catch up, and then you're right there ready for the 3rd arc. And if you're a trade waiter, then the 3rd arc, collecting and trade, is not far off. It'll be, next year. I'd imagine it'd be probably by summertime or something like that. But yeah, very, very excited for people to read them all together, because I really, it's a consequential. There's like, we get to throw some crazy stuff out there. For you guys have been reading it, like, there's some twists, there's some like, oh shit, I can't believe they did that moment. So that's the most fun to do.
Absolutely. And I think that to make Ken's prediction right, I think now we need to go to 5. Let's do 5.
Like Nixon 5.
There you
Frey
go.
and 5.
Frey and 5.
I should do 2 more, is what you're saying?
2 more. I'm not asking for much. Come on.
Okay.
But either way, I mean, listen, the story does.
Possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I think it's.
I said this at the end, but that it's not. It wouldn't be the last comic person to say I'm not doing any more of this, and then they do more of this. So.
Well, we already promised you last time that if that happens, we will dub over it that it was no, we're doing more.
Yeah, just change the.
It'll be my voice over yours.
Listen. For the record, right now, I always said it was going to be amount of arcs, and that's exactly what it's going to be.
There you go. But like seriously, as you point out, I think that's why the character is caught on, because the character has so much, and like there is a lot of room, and you could do more and you could do less, and like if you can finish it up in 3, that's perfect. But like, and it does give you as the writer a lot more leeway, because if you did decide to come back, there is still so much you could do with that character. Like that's kind of like, in a scenario, it's the dream character to have. I mean, really,
I think audience, like, listen, comics is, I've written a lot of comics. Comics is definitely a medium that lends itself very easily to action, and there's a huge appetite for action in comics. One of the best-selling genres in comics is action comics. This is why you get Invincible. But I think that's, you see today, there's an appetite for characters that you fall in love with, and you don't know what's going to happen to them. And there's action. I mean, look at Dork, look at the stories like that. So I think that's kind of what we set out to do with Kill All Immortals, is give readers someone that they can fall in love with. They can come back, arc to arc, issue to issue, and go, I really want to see her not just kick ass, but survive this really, incredible dilemma and conflict that she's struck with. What is she to do? Is she to become a ruthless Viking, or is she to escape it all and gain her freedom and leave the world alone to the other immortals? So yeah.
I mean, there's a lot there, but here, I'm not going to let you off the hook on this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Frey out of the mix. What is your favorite character to write in this book without spoiling anything besides Frey? You can't take the easy route.
Are we spoiling volume 2? Should we assume people have written?
I could say a little bit. I mean, it's not gonna hurt it if people hear.
I really loved writing the villain in volume 2. Khan was a fantastic villain to write for sure. And there's a villain in the third arc that comes in a bit later that I actually love, is also up there for tied with Khan for. So I love the villain of the new arc, just fantastic. And I think readers are going to absolutely love him and hate him as well. But I think my next favorite after Frey is her father, Eric the Red. He's so great to write, and every time I write him as if he's the main character of the story, and it's his story. He is wrong consistently in how he goes about things, and he is right almost all the time in what's happening. And you can't help but go back and read it, or maybe even the first time, and kind of go, he's kind of right a lot of the times, and so it makes it really hard because he's right and he's wrong. And so ultimately this father-daughter story with him and Frey is the most consequential character dynamic of the whole book, of the whole series. So he's a lot of fun to write, and I think he's evolving too, and you don't know how they're both evolving, and so you don't really know. That's a source of conflict that's not going away either, and so that's a really fun dynamic to write.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because Eric has definitely, like, overall he's right. Like when the end of the day is written, he's right. But then what leads to the end of the day, there's usually some errors there.
Right.
Like he almost sees the end game, but misses everything in between.
That's right. Yeah. Well, he misses his family. He misses his children. That's what he misses. He's right about how to take on all the rivals. He's right about how to survive the enemies. He's right about his empire. He does not understand his children, and and that's what this book is about. It's a generational conflict between father and the next his offspring, and they've been putting up with it for so long. And so it's really fun to just kind of play with that. And I think I love complex storytelling, and so I love that this is not a simple story of just, will Frey take down the next bad guy? There's all these extra, like, how does Frey and her father survive this as well? How does Frey and her family survive? How do Frey and her brothers survive this? So there's all these different subplots that really make it, just at every turn hammering Frey and hammering the reader with all this drama amidst these incredible fight sequences. That's what makes it so, I think, dynamic.
It's a perfect balance between drama and action, like, in all honesty, but it centers around Frey and just what she's done in the course of the series. And as for you as the writer, what has been the biggest surprise for you with her journey thus far?
Probably the surprise is how easy it is to show her leave behind so much of the identity that we meet in the very first issue. I mean, we meet a young woman who has tried really hard to stay away from the barbaric nature of things, to be above the fight, to be removed from it all, to like be a purist in her ideals. And we really love her for that. And she's going into the third arc a very different character, and it's very comfortable. And that's really surprising to see how she's been able to shed that so naturally and so organically and so believably. You're like, yeah, the fact that she's a ruthless barbaric killer Viking now, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to set this situation right. I get it. I don't fault her the least bit for where she is as a character, but man, how far away she is from where she started. That's you know, when you write it out as like a story mapper, and I'm planning everything, it's like, okay, that may be where she's going. But then when I get to see how the story delivers her there, that I was surprised how easily she got there.
Yeah, I mean, her journey has just been incredible thus far, and then going into volume 3, I mean, all bets are off of where we're gonna head there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Switching it up to talk about obviously you mentioned it earlier, switching artists on this book.
Yeah.
Francisco Martorino is going to be the artist. How has your process changed having the new artist on?
Every artist works differently, and I think Francisco has a really, you know, it's like, here's this whole world, and so on the one hand, it's the same world, it's the same story, so there's some aspects that stay the same. There's some aspects that we want to shift. We want Francisco to bring his own vision and his artistic prowess to the story. We want readers to you know, come back to something that they feel comfortable. We also want them to recognize that he's a different artist and he's equally talented. So it's a tightrope, but I think I've loved working with Francisco. He's extremely enthusiastic, extremely passionate. I think he has touches that Fico did not, and so it's really cool to see it translated in different ways. And he does absolutely beautiful detail work. His environments are. I don't know if people have read his work before, but go check some of out or you'll see it when you see Kill All Immortals as well. But the detail work is absolutely incredible, and I'm a glutton for a fantastic detailed environment. And then he brings a lot of heart to Frey. I really love the amount of emotion that he continues to capture with her as well. So it's been a joy to work with him, and I'm really excited. And I think every issue becomes you know, tighter and stronger in terms of our back and forth to get there. So couldn't be happier. And Thiago Rocha is their colorist, and he's just a superstar because he brings that synergy to the book and makes it feel. I mean, the colors are what also make it feel like you're returning to this world, because it's colored in the same way as Fico's work, with the same kind of style of the book. So even though there's a different nuance underneath everything, and it's a different interpretation here and there, it fundamentally feels like Kill All Immortals, you know, through and through.
Yeah, because I mean, the book just has a vibe all its own. Like I said,
Yeah.
from page 1 of issue 1 to now, it's like there's a certain element, like, you know, when you're in that story, you know, you're caught up in that world, and it just really pours off the pages. Like, for the reader to have that experience, like, that's what really locks you in. And there's so many memorable moments going into volume 3. Is there a certain moment between both volumes that stuck out to you and it was like the standout moment of the series?
Between in volume 2 or
In between both 1 and 2, is there a moment that you're just like it hit, like that was the moment you're like, okay, this is how I know, you know, it really caught you and just went, wow.
Oh yeah, I think there's a very consequential moment in the middle of volume 2. It's the third issue. So if anyone's been reading it, there's a very dramatic event that happens to this family in the middle of volume 2. And I think without spoiling too much, you know, it just the stakes are you realize that, oh, these are life or death stakes that are going on here. And I think that and then I think as a writer, you kind of say, okay, so if you're going to have something big like that happen in this world, you know, you got to keep that emotion. It can't just be gone. You got to feel something like that. So really, I think trying to tap into the raw, grim nature of the emotion of loss and the emotion of when you hit characters like this with something so dramatic. So yeah, I think that was you know, obviously as a writer, when you design something, you're like, oh, and then this happens. But then when you like flesh it out, you're like, oh man, that happened, but man, this is so impactful.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it. But make sure, if you don't know, start reading.
Yeah.
it's great that the trade paperback is coming out, you know, in not too far off here in September.
September 15th.
Make sure you get out there and pick it up, because trust me, if you read it volume 1 and you're waiting to read volume 2, you're definitely going to want to read that before you read volume 3. You might even want to change your mind about waiting for the trade and just start reading volume 3 as it goes along, because let's be honest, I couldn't wait that long.
There's no way you can wait. If you finish reading volume 1, you could not wait for volume 2.
I'll tell you, I almost want to be able to say like dive in and don't go back, but I honestly feel like you should just go back. Like you should just go back and read the first 2 volumes and catch up. You will absolutely not be disappointed. I don't want to say that volume 3 is a jumping on point. Like this is the third chapter in a really epic trilogy. So I feel like the way you do it is you go just dive in. You won't be disappointed. Read the first 2 volumes, and then you read the first volume.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing you'll read the first volume and not immediately go out and be like, God damn it, Zach. And all right, I'll buy the second one. And then, same with the third. So it's not a jumping on point, but it is well worth diving into.
I was going to say, I'm not saying that everybody has to do this, but I
am.
No, but I'm going to, because listen, I've said it before. I've gotten to read the PDFs because, reviewing, but then I also owe the single issues, and I also owe the trades, and I already pre-ordered my second volume. Not everybody has to do all of that, but if somebody like myself, who's already read the issue, still buys the issue and buys the trade, that should tell you how good the book is. As I'm just throwing it out there. That's the power of the dollar.
I'm saying it's required reading. So
it is pretty required reading.
I'm just saying, like, if you jumped in volume 2 cold, you still get a great story.
That's true.
Coming off what happens in volume 1, there's no way you don't just jump in and you're like, oh, and you're back in it, and you're just it'll hit you so differently.
You have to read all 3.
But that's why I say you have to go read them, and that's why you should go buy them. Make sure you save up. Because, like I said, when the trades come out, you can go get them. And then make sure you pre-order for
we have some amazing covers for the third arc. Every time we've done this book, I keep getting better and better covers. But the new arc that's October 7th, the new issue 1 for this last season, in addition to Oliver Barrett's A covers, which he's done every A cover for the entire arc. By the end of this whole thing, he'll have done 15 A covers. Absolutely amazing series of covers. But in addition to that, Ilana Casagrande has an amazing cover, which is really incredible. You might know her work from Black Widow and a bunch of other great titles. There's this artist, Eliza Ivanova, who did some really cool White Sky covers, and she is this gorgeous visual artist painter on Instagram, huge following, and she did a cover for us. Absolutely cool, so cool. And then, of course, after 10 years, I'm just so jazzed. I finally got a Jenny Frison cover.
Yes.
And that one is an incentive. I think there are even two tiers of incentiviness to that one. I think there's like the standard incentive, and then there's even a more rare one that Dark Horse just set in motion. So if you want a Jenny Frison cover for Kill All Immortals, you absolutely have to go tell your shop, how do I get that? So that one's going to be awesome. Yeah, so a lot of really cool covers for this to order.
Yeah, I've the covers that we've seen so far look fantastic, and of course, when I see you at New York Comic Con, I will make sure.
Just come on by. You're all set.
Listen. Once again, I real quick, just to kind of put a button on volume 3, because we have some other things we want to talk. I'm not gonna. I don't want the full spoiler, so we'll go with this. I'm just gonna say, buttoning it up, going into it. The last kind of selling point here. Are we getting Reservoir Dogs, or are we getting a definitive ending, or are we getting that cliffhanger? Like, oh, maybe we're gonna come back. What do you want to give away and plug here?
You are getting a definitive ending to Frey's story, and it will be, Reservoir Dogs is a definitive ending. Is that a definitive ending? Because everyone died.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a very definitive ending.
You're getting a little bit of that for sure. Frey is going up against a whole bunch of immortals. We literally throw a ton of players into this conflict, and it's awesome because you're just like, oh my god, And I think in the same way that the second volume and the first volume, they all have this like, how on earth is she going to survive this? We are hoping that you feel that as we go into this third volume. How on earth is this she going to survive this? But absolutely consequential ending for sure, and definitely ending this series, this chapter. Could the door one day be open when the movie comes out and I sell out and I decide to come back and do more of this? Absolutely. Of course, anything can be resurrected, especially in immortality. But yeah, it's definitely a very conclusive ending, and it is definitely big in scale, and you do not want to miss it. It's going to be absolutely insanely epic.
And for anybody who has been reading all along, you'll know that that's just business as usual.
Yes.
Like, which is amazing because, like, I can't overput it. If you like action, if you like violence, if you like a great character study, it's all into one. And it's kind of weird that they all go together, but they do. And if you don't believe it, read the books.
That's right.
But like we say, Kill All Immortals is capping off an incredible run that Zack is on right now. And there are 2 books out at the shops right now you simply can't afford to miss. And the fans have spoken, the critics have spoken. Only the Savage Are Left and the Smart Division. For Zack, seeing the immediate reaction to both of these books, I mean, what is, your feelings, watching all this unfold? Highest critic score on Comic Book Roundup. I mean, let's talk about that.
Yeah, Smart Division has got the highest, the best reviews for a creator-owned comic for an issue 1 on Comic Book Roundup. That the 10s just kept pouring in, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I think Only the Savage is top 5 for the year creator-owned series. Yeah, I mean, I started this journey last year thinking, like, what if I put a few books at Dark Horse and launched them together as a slate? And definitely had been thinking about these ideas a lot and wanted to kind of pour my heart into them. You don't know how things are going to go. Obviously, you write what you want to read, and you write what you love, and you try to give readers a thrilling setup. But it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. Only the Savage Are Left is I think it's the highest best-selling Dark Horse new number 1 series, like creator-owned series of the year, not in the licenses. So the numbers have been crazy all across the board, and it's just been very rewarding and very, very exciting. And to just have one after another hit. So yeah, very, very grateful, very excited to keep. I mean, I don't take it lightly when readers, respond that way to a series. I roll up my sleeves and say, man, I got to make sure this continues. The level of quality has got to be there. The level of authenticity, the level of thrills and excitement. Like, I'm not on to the next thing. Like I want to make sure that these things are fulfilling from the beginning of the story right onto the last page of the whole series. So.
And you're succeeding at it because honestly, like, and it's not like I made the joke off air, but it's not just because you're here. Like well, this for fact anyway. So when Kill All Immortals is out, it's my most exciting thing that I wait for in a file when it's coming out. And I found that to be the same thing for Only the Savage Are Left. And then of course the Smart Division, there's only 1 issue so far, but it's fantastic. And once again, from your writing to the artwork, because you work with some phenomenal artists across the board. I know, just putting it over, we had John Pearson on last week on the show.
Amazing.
Talking about the patron in that case, but the amazing work he's doing in the Smart Division as well. It just speaks to the volume and quality, and everything's different. Like, you're not just writing 3 books that are the same. No, you are literally writing 3 different books. And what are the challenges that go into that?
Yeah, it's certainly there's a lot of switching as far as like mindset goes for each of these books. I mean, I learned this from Rick Remender, and I don't know if he said it somewhere. I just learned it from studying his work. But step number 1 is find amazing artists and work with them. So I continue to strive to do that. Stefano Raffaele is an Eisner nominated artist who's been doing Big 2 and European licenses for 20 plus years. And I think Only the Savage Are Left is his first creator-owned book. So he poured his freaking heart into that. He is a pro. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous book. John Pearson is an Eisner winning artist from Blue and Green, which was Ram V's. He did that book with Ram V and Anand. But I think he's due, to be perfectly honest, for another Eisner nom or win this year, because if you look at Infernals that I think just came out in trade, and now The Patron, and now this is award-winning work. It's different, it's innovative, it's amazing. He goes back and forth between digital and physical medium. It's incredible. So I'm very fortunate to work with some amazing artists. But yeah, as far as like the writing goes, it's a challenge to shift gears, certainly to go from the monster world, and Only the Savage Are Left is told in a very non-linear style. There's lots of flashbacks and flash forwards that are injected in, and they're all curated to kind of take the emotionality of that character's journey kind of and play with that. And then the Smart Division, also some non-linear elements, but in addition to trying to deal with a, you know, Chinatown sort of crime thriller and all the clues and all this and that, there's this existential dread and suspense. And so, yeah, I don't know if I have an answer to how I do it all, but there's a lot of, I have to write. I don't think I ever write the same project the same week. I think every week it's Monday, Smart Division's on the table. I'm going to be working on Smart Division this week. Done. Next week, I'm going to be working on Kill All Immortals. So even though I might be consulting on pages or communicating with the artists, as far as the writing goes, I can't possibly inhabit the same mental space day to day. I have to switch gears and kind of go, okay, I'm in Smart Division. So
well,
yeah.
that's good to hear, because I was going to say you would be the only Savage left if you were doing it all at the same time.
Yeah.
They're such different books. They're all tremendous, but they're all such different books, and they have different things. And like I've been describing the Smart Division, the Chinatown aspect is great, because I didn't even think about that, because I'm like, hey, do you like True Detective?
Yeah.
True Detective with like kind of like based in reality sci-fi. I wouldn't even technically say sci-fi, because it is really based in reality.
No, we initially called it sci-fi, and it's so hard to know if I should be keeping that. I mean, I guess technically I don't even know if it's sci-fi or not, because it's about using ChatGPT or AI to commit crimes, but that's kind of something that you could probably do right now, especially if you pulled off a black market version. So yeah, it's a very like right now sort of sci-fi premise. We pitched it as True Detective, and I'm so glad that resonated and stuck with you, because or if you came to that separately, that's amazing, because we wanted something. Two great things about True Detective that we wanted to infuse into the Smart Division is, one, I love the pairing of these detectives where not only do they not fit well, but you don't know if they're going to work out. And I love that sort of like, oh, they both are great detectives in their own way, and I think they could both solve this case, but I don't know if they're going to ruin each other in the process. Like, that danger to the partnership is really so fun to write, and that is absolutely True Detective. And then the other thing is, I think that sort of existential dread of like, this is not just a thriller, this is a question about where we are, and so it's not just will they catch the killer, but like there's this larger question to Smart Detective, like to Smart Division, which is like, what do we do about AI in our society right now, and how do we handle this as far as it goes with crimes and criminal justice? So yeah, we're absolutely striving for that sort of energy.
I was gonna say when I was reading the first issue, it came across because I noticed the dichotomy between the two detectives, but also where it really hit was like, and I was already kind of it planted in my head, is when you realize that the narration, because I don't think this ruins anything, is done from an interrogation room. And
Yes.
that made me think of Matthew McConaughey from True Detective season 1, sitting in the interrogation room, and that's where a lot of the stuff that they're talking about comes from. And I went, oh, that's so amazing.
Absolutely borrowing that little device and that little story element for sure. You know, I think it's a lot of fun to use that forward in time sort of narration of what happened, and it's done under the pretense of something's gone wrong or something's not right, and so you're kind of going, it wouldn't be told in this way if everything was hunky dory. So what
Right.
happened, Zach? What's going on here? And that's a great way to put the reader kind of on edge and say, yeah, this is not a thriller where it's all just like everything works out in the end.
Yeah, it definitely helps create a little more dread there.
Yeah.
In my
Oh,
opinion.
completely. I mean, like I say, each series has its own vibe to it. And to think like this is what you've had out right now, what is on the horizon here for the rest of the year going into 2027? If we can speculate a little bit.
I have new books coming in 2027, but I haven't. Nothing will be announced this year. And those things are and those are all different. Those are all different from these. So that's, and I think there'll be threads that you say, I see Zach has played with that thread in that series, and now he's taking that, but yeah, I like to continue to mash genres together and come up with new stories. And so I continue to doing that. Yeah, for sure. But as much as a comic creator, I have to be planning my next year, and I'm starting to get some things going. I am very much still in the I don't know where am I in? I'm in it with these,
Yeah.
these books.
He's on his grind.
Yes.
I have not I finished writing only the Savage Left. Only the Savage Left is all completely finished. I've not finished writing the Smart Division. I'm almost done writing the Smart Division, and I'm still in the middle of writing the series finale of Kill All Immortals. So I'm still very much in writing these, in building these with my collaborators, and with getting these out. So as much as I look forward, and I have more books, yeah, definitely very much in this.
I've asked you, but once again, we pointed out we've talked to you 3 times this year, which is I think is a new record, or is it tied record? It could be.
I'll take it.
I lose track when we're having fun. So
yeah, it's going to be there, at least tied, but we're going to call it the record as of right now.
I'll take it.
Here
I like
on
records.
Fanlight Zone. So with that being said, I've already asked you the indie question, but I want to like twist on that a little bit, because you just mentioned you have all these wonderful books coming out. We just mentioned how different they are. You have more ideas that are going to be different in the future as well. Do you think that the strength of how independent comics is going right now is playing a hand in the fact that you are able to pitch and get approved of doing some of these different stories instead of just being stuck in a one-lane bubble?
The landscape of independent comics is constantly changing, and I think it literally changes every couple of years. I'm nerdy about trying to look at trends and trying to be strategic about what I'm doing. And so I do try to kind of look at the moment and say, like, what is going on? What are people responding to? I've had a great year with creator-owned books, but I think that there have been a lot of comic journalists that have written about, not all creator-owned books and not all indie books have been doing well over the past couple of years. There's still fallout from the Diamond bankruptcy. There's been retailers have had a great year with the Absolute Universe and with some movies bringing a lot of readers back to comic book shops. So, I mean, I was at Comics Pro. A lot of the retailers were talking about how successful the book buying business has been. Gen Z is really interested in physical media. But I actually think that I have been very fortunate to be in the minority of an interest in original stories. And I think that there has been a lack of appetite. I think you're seeing a lot of comic book publishers lean more on intellectual property and big licenses and stories. And I think that even creator-owned books are succeeding when they capture that sort of marquee energy to it. And so I think that maybe that's one thing that I've been able to do well, is when I think of an idea, I really try to think about how can this be presented in a high concept way? How can this be presented in a marketable way? But I think that it's different trends in film. For example, you're seeing some things like Backrooms and Obsession, and like all these like indie darlings are outperforming big budget movies. And there's a lot of talk in Hollywood about the value of like authentic directors and this kind of different approach to storytelling. It feels almost like a rebirth of the 1970s in film. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if in the next 3 or 4 years you continue to see an appetite in movies for that. I don't know entirely that that's where comics is at. I would love for comics to be there, but I think one of the places I've succeeded is Kill All Immortals feels like a marquee kind of title, and Only the Savage was kind of presented in that way. I think, you know, Walking Dead, Last of Us, and now a new take on the zombie apocalypse story. Boom, you know. So I think that, and Smart Division, I think, yeah, it's got so much existentialism and surrealism and unique elements to it, but we're also like, hey, it's also X-Files. It's also True Detective. It's also like, here's the framework. So this is marquee to this. This feels like a big event kind of thing that you can lean into, even if it's an original miniseries. So I think that that's where I've survived and succeeded as a creator. But I follow the news and I follow announcements and I follow these things. And I think indie comics is still trying to find its footing after a couple of hard years. So I would love to see more of my peers get more opportunities to do great books and to see more publishers lean into it more. But, you know, that's not entirely where the market is right now.
Yeah, I could see that. Like a lot of time, like once again, different economic times has created kind of like, because there's so much good things out there. Like as somebody, like I said, who's lucky enough to be spoiled with being able to read an insane amount of not quite everything. I don't have. I mean, I do read an insane amount of books. I mean, but I'm just, you know, and I understand that I'm fortunate about that.
Yes.
I can only imagine having to choose, because I already do. I made this a point of saying, like, I personally choose the different things on my pull list as well. And then I had to separate down to go, okay, well, I love this series and I want it on my shelf, but I'm going to buy it as a trade instead of buying issue by issue, just because I just don't have the resources to do that. I think we're seeing that a lot more. And it was only recently, and I said this to Ken behind the scenes recently, that it's only recently that I understood the trade buyers. Because originally I was always like, well, I'm just a Wednesday warrior. Let's go to the shops. Let's pick up what I want to read. And then I'm like, okay, well, now there's a definitive dollar mark on this. You know what I mean? Not that my wife is cutting me off yet. That would become from mostly my Kickstarter habits. I'm sorry. I love you very much. So that's to my wife, of course. But you know, you have to make decisions. And I can only imagine if my only reading was just done there. So I get it. I completely understand. And I think that that's why you're seeing a boom in the trade, because a lot of times you go to the shop, and I mean, shop, there's a lot more people grabbing the trades and stuff, not to mention like the manga generation who has now, you know, dove into comics, mostly thanks to Absolute Batman, which you know, has brought a lot of people in. They're also used to reading bigger books, so they like the trades a lot more. So we're seeing that.
It's highly competitive out there. There's a lot to read. There's a lot of limited shelf space. A lot of shelf space is going to the success of DC and to Transformers and to, you know, all of these Teen Turtles and everything that, you know, there's a lot of excitement around a lot of properties. And so if you're in the creator-owned space or the indie space, there's just you have to find a way to stand out. And I think that becomes more and more prevalent. So I think that's something that I've been fortunate enough to do with these titles, which I think is why they've succeeded. And I think I continue to think about that as I move forward. So, you know, it's hard because you want to just be able to focus on telling a great story. But I think as an independent creator, as a original storyteller, you have to also think about, how does this present in such a way where you go, that character Frey, I just got to follow her. Like, I'm hooked. I'm in. I'm sold. Let's go.
I got to ask you, and I put you in a hot seat here. I know you, because you do amazing, you know, your own creations. Have you thought about doing licenses or IPs, since everything recently has just been creator owned?
I would. I think there's several things. It's like a bandwidth thing. It's like a time thing. It's about the right project. It's about finding the creative freedom on a project. But I would absolutely do. I would. Yeah. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't watch this.
No, I don't. Yeah.
But at the same point, like it's kind of like you've just become synonymous to me with, you know, original content, which is fine. I'm not saying I didn't think you would turn down doing. I would
never not do creator-owned content, and I would never not have a majority of my work be creator-owned content. I do consider myself first and foremost a creator-owned storyteller, and I love to build worlds out, and I love to bring books like these this year to. But would I throw an amazing property into the fire? You know, like, yeah, I would love to do a Blade Runner or something really super, you know, Terminator or something that's sci-fi that's cool as hell. That fits my appetite for violence and great characters. Yeah, I would love to, or something that's super heady and thoughtful, like Smart Division. I'd love to do something like that. Or, you know, if the right Marvel or DC character came along, I'm not opposed to it. But I don't really seek that stuff out. And you know, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and anyone knows where to find me. And until then, I'm just going to keep rocking it with great stories and comics.
Yeah, I now have to put the karma out there for you on Terminator. I'm putting that out there. Like, I need to see this. But I mean, you've talked about Frey's story is ending. You have another amazing female character that's gonna maybe take her place in Oakland. So we have to kind of end with a couple fun questions.
Sure.
If Oakland was the one who stole the secret of immortality,
Oh,
how would she fare in the world of Kill All Immortals?
better. She would fare far better. Oakland. I mean, Oakland's such a great character. This is in Only the Savage Are Left. Ryder is our trepid pacifist. He's just a good boy. You know, he's just a good guy, and he doesn't want to be Mad Max. You know, he just wants. Why does everybody have to be Mad Max in a post-apocalyptic world? He just wants to be a good guy. He's fallen in love with a girl who has learned very early on from her father that, yeah, when someone looks like they're going to hit you, you just hit them first. And that's just who she is. She is a sweet girl, but she's a survivor for sure. She's learned that life is hard. And that is not something Frey learned. Frey's far more sensitive. She cares about people. Oakland cares about herself and the people she loves and no one else. And she'll do whatever it takes to survive. I think she does care about the world, but I think she does care about the world actually a great deal. She wants the world to be a good place. But if she's trying to make the world better and you're standing in her way, she's going to give you one warning to get out of the way. And if you don't, you're done for. Like, this is a very strong, determined killer. And it's really fun to write her as also the sweet girl that Ryder loves, because she's a sweetheart too, and she has both sides. And but yeah, Oakland by far is one of the strongest, most dangerous female characters I think I've written, for sure.
She's amazing. Yeah. Like in Only Savage Are Left. Like you say, she's the show stealer.
Yeah, she's yeah. I think it's showing that character and then showing that she's just also a sweet girl, and she loves Ryder, and like she's like showing that dichotomy is what makes her so fun to watch when she gets a weapon and she just goes to town. You're just like,
I was going to say the survivor thing is great but in the world of survivors in like, we'll go with movies, she's less Laurie Strode, more Ripley.
Yes.
Far
and away.
Yeah, she's Ripley. She's Ripley. Yeah.
Badass. But at the same time, she has a soft spot.
Yeah.
Soft spot, which is good. You need that. You have to still stay grounded. All right, another hot seat question, but fun is you like the action. So what is the favorite action movie?
What's my favorite action movie?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is a good question. That is of all of them, all of them. There's so many. I mean, all right, I'm just gonna think out loud. I mean, like, Die Hard is pretty great. Die Hard is a pretty good one to go to. The Mad Max, I love some Mad Max. I think Road Warrior might be the best Mad Max I would pick. I mean, that's just adrenaline packed. Terminator 2 is a great, I mean, in terms of like great action. I feel like those are, I feel like, yeah, I'm trying not to lean too into any little side genres. Like, is Alien action? I mean, Alien's action, but it's a little like in terms of action, yeah. But I guess Mad Max is post-apocalyptic. I guess Terminator is sci-fi. So action can be, I guess I love action, a lot of different things. Die Hard is pretty great. When I think about just like some guy letting loose and going nuts, that Die Hard keeps popping out to me. I mean, Matrix is an amazing action movie. Like Matrix is pretty killer. Yeah.
They can dabble in the sci-fi, because I was going to say even like one of my favorites is Demolition Man, and that's still sci-fi. You're talking about cryogenically freezing people, putting them in the future. So
I'll tell you, Terminator 2 is a pretty amazing action movie. Terminator 2 is pretty incredible because you meet this guy who's a Terminator, who's, and then you love him because he is trying to protect this kid, and then they pit him against the T-1000, which just can't be beat. So I really think until the end, you just don't know how they're going to survive, and the chase never stops in that movie. That is a great action movie for sure.
It's probably it honestly, hands down, probably the best. And I mean, that's coming off of the weird part of it's coming off that the original Terminator is more of a horror film, and then you get Terminator 2, and it's an action film.
It's an action film, and the stakes of the world are. It's not like the stakes of one man. So they have these little nuances where it's like Die Hard. Listen, if he dies, he dies. It's like it's just one guy. If they don't protect this kid, all of humanity is like this. The stakes are pretty big, and they're up against a better model. It just seems like it can't be stopped, and you really don't know how they're going to get out of it. And then it's got this great surrogate father thing going on. It's got great lines. It's got that kind of 80s sort of I'll be back, some of this, those that said it like fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, even though it's a pretty serious movie. It knows when to just have a little bit of fun. So yeah, I'll go with Terminator 2 for now. That's a pretty good one.
It's an excellent choice. And someday soon, because we're going to put the karma out there,
I'll do it.
Kill All Immortals is going to be on that list, because if they follow the books and do a faithful adaptation, there's no way this is not going to be a blockbuster hit for Hollywood. So some studio start calling
movie, TV. What should we do with this? Movie or television?
Both.
I mean,
animated. You got to pick. You got to pick, guys.
I would pick. Honestly, I would pick TV. I would pick streaming, and the reason why is because it's such a broad story. I don't know if you could tell this story, and even 3-hour movies might not be enough. We might need like more seasons than even are written just to get through what's written. Just saying.
I mean, I could go either way. I mean, because you can go full blockbuster and do a lot more explosions with the budgets and such. I mean, and obviously the fight scenes you can go really crazy with, but you can also have that in streaming too. I mean, there's nothing taken away from that. I think as long as we get this story onto the pop culture radar, whether it's streaming, whether it's movies, whether it's animation, or all three, because hey, why not? Dream big, let's make it happen. Because right now we are currently in your Renaissance era right now with all your amazing stories going on. So wherever you're listening or watching this program from,
I guess I'm going to have to do more of the graphic novels now. You convinced me. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll read those too.
Exactly. We're going to be reading everything because you've absolutely been crushing this year. And folks, we can't stress enough. You need to get to the comic shops. Go get Only the Savage Are Left. Go get the Smart Division. Go get Masterminds. Go get Zack's back catalog. But more importantly, right now, though, with Kill All Immortals coming out with volume 1, you want to make sure you place that final order cutoff by August 31st. Don't wait till then. Hear this episode. Get in the car. Get into however you can go to the comic shops. Go place your orders, plural if you can do it. And make sure you have this lined up, because you don't want to be walking into the shop on October 7th and going, oh man, I forgot to order it. And everybody else is going to be talking about this. And you're the one outside looking in. We're giving you fair warning now. You want to make sure you do it. And if you're just jumping into the series now for whatever reason, the trade paperback is on sale for volume 2, September 15th. Trade paperback volume 1 is out right now. So you have plenty of time to go get caught up, because you know when Zack comes back on the show to recap Kill All Immortals Volume 3, you don't want to be sitting there going, oh man, I missed out on this. Zack, we can't thank you enough for coming back on the show. We're definitely going to be catching up with you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you both so much.
No, absolutely. On behalf of Rich and myself, thank you again for checking out another edition of Fanlight Zone Presents. We'll see you next time.